Hello. Today I'm going to be taking all the carpet out of this 1977 Vandura because the carpet is gross. This video, I don't know if it's going to be a lot of slow shots of me taking out carpet. It's pretty methodical. So this is really here, A, for historical purposes. If you want to know how vehicles of this era were carpeted, this video will show you it because this is a 77 Vandura. And this carpet is pretty contemporary. And then B, for people who like watching carpet removed, this is the video for you. So I'm going to be silent for most of this video because there really isn't that much to talk about. These are just some pieces of garbage I found around the carpet, and the rest of the time I'm just ripping it out. There's a few screws hidden within this carpet that you couldn't really see from the top because it's shag carpet. Those screws are what's holding down the carpet, and you'll be able to see them once I move the carpet out. They're stuck in there. This is how the edge of the carpet was finished, or how it was dressed. I don't know what you would like to refer to it as. It's basically retained by this aluminum molding, and you can see once I've loosened the screws, I'm able to rip it out. I'd like to add, I was so careful because I thought that I could reuse this carpet, but once I got it all out and set it all on the ground, you could feel it was moist, even though this van has been in the garage for about a month. It was noticeably wet, and I didn't like that, so I ended up throwing it all out. If I knew I'd throw it out from the beginning, I wouldn't have been this careful. But here I am, carefully removing everything, including this edge strip on the little step you use to get in. Here's the fasteners they use to retain that strip. Here I am taking out more of these aesthetic facing plates that retain the carpet. We are up at, this would be like the front wheel well in the cab. There's the fasteners used to hold the aluminum extrusion in place. And here's the aluminum extrusion itself. It had been bent into this shape. Where the red carpet ends and the green carpet begins, there's this strip of metal. That's what I'm taking out here. These are the fasteners. They're all similar. They're all just sheet metal screws. That's the strip. It looked like chrome plated steel instead of aluminum. That ripped there because I had missed a screw, so I was tearing out the carpet from around that screw. The carpet was old and brittle, so it didn't provide much resistance. There you see the screws that I've talked about. They go through the carpet, through the floor mat, and into the sheet metal of the chassis or the body. Here's me just removing one of them, for example. They're a little tricky to remove. They had a weird head shape that was usually filled with crap. That's what they look like, just sheet metal screws. Here is the gross green carpet. Oh, that was not pleasant. It didn't smell great. And it has this matting below it. And then you see the original surface or deck of the truck floor, van floor beneath it. Now I'm taking out the carpet from around these steps. this carpet either had a backing that was this foam-like material, or the foam-like material was adhered first and then the carpet was adhered. But in any case, in lots of places the foam just delaminates from the carpet and sticks to the van, and I have to scrape that off. A lot of work went into scraping that foam off of the van. This actually shows you pretty well how weakened the carpet had been. It's ripping very easily. This green piece, I thought it would make a nice little piece of carpet to kneel on, but it's just, this foam had turned to dust and it was pretty uncomfortable to deal with. So this ended up going to the landfill. The same thing is happening on the other side. I'm just ripping out the green carpet. At this point, I'm kind of realizing it's unsalvageable, so I'm being a lot less cautious. There are wires to certain things running underneath the carpet. However, they were just kind of disconnected wires. I don't know what they would have been to originally. There, now the green carpet is out. Now I'm dealing with these mats. These are just rubber mats. I intended to keep these and I did keep them. Just rubber mats that I don't think they were factory made. I think they were cut to the correct shape. Gets a little tricky when the mat goes around like the steering column and the control pedals. But I get it free and I take it out. This appears to be a thermal mat. There was a few of those too, just with that foil insulation type thing going on. They were also moist, kind of fairly wet. Here you see another thermal one. It does make sense. These are all right around the engine compartment. And here's the driver's side one coming out. You can see that it's got the grooves in the floor worked into its surface. It's been there for a long time. This stuff reminds me of like mini putt golf, the AstroTurf. That's what it feels like they put there, just in some select locations. I don't know if they added it later or what the deal was. Okay, now we're back to this weird foam stuff that I was mentioning before, and I'm just gonna show you what a struggle this was. So in some places it seemed to have that adhesive strip that I could take off all at once, but in other places it had become this amorphous, dusty mess, and I ended up having to scrape it off. But here you see I'm just taking off these chunks as well as I can. These last bits were pretty tricky, so I ended up having to come back with a scraper bar. But after this point, it was all done, and I had gotten all the carpet out. So if you're a van carpet enthusiast, I hope you enjoyed this video. If it's 50 years in the future and you're curious about carpet, I also hope you enjoyed the video. And if you're neither of those, I really appreciate you watching. Thanks for being here. Have a great day.